welcome to Steve McDonald's Crafting, and what I'm going to be making today is a little gnome for Christmas, and I'm going to be using some glitter felt and some glitter foam. Now, if you haven't got the foam, you can do this just in the felt. If you haven't got the felt, then you can do this just in the foam. But I like to mix both up. I will link them in the description below. They're dirt cheap, so you haven't got to worry, and just click on that and then you'll be able to find them. I'm also going to be using the inside of a toilet roll, a few pom-poms, and a glue gun. Well, the first thing I need to do is cut the bottom off could be the top or the bottom, off the toilet roll inside. I'm going to go about a third of the way down to do this. There we go. And open that back out again. If you've got any bits like this that are going off or whatever, it doesn't really matter. But if you want, you can just glue them down with your glue gun. And now, before I do anything with that, I'm going to paint that. And you can paint it whatever colour you like, really. But I'm going to paint it a nice fiery red metallic colour, and it will paint and dry really quickly because it's the cardboard. Well, that's all painted now and nice and dry, and as you can see, it's got a nice colour red to it. So what I need to do now is just measure the depth of that I need to cut off, and I want to go quite there to it. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't have to be exact, but I want it to be as near as possible. Cut that off. I could have measured that and got it a lot more accurate than that, but you know me and eyeballing things. And then obviously I'm not going to need this amount, so I'm just going to measure this up. I'm not going to stick it on it or anything anywhere yet, and I want it to slightly overlap just in case I measure it wrong. That to one side. Now what I'm going to do is cut in very fine pieces all the way along to the top. So I'm leaving a gap at the top of this, as you can see, and I've cut those quite nice there. So I'm going to go all the way along and finish this off. I've cut that up into a nice little frayed, it looks like a little skirt. I'm going to glue this on, but I'm not going to glue it on all the way round. I'm actually only going to glue it on half the way round, and you'll see why in a second. So it comes to about there, so that back bit is exposed. There we go. My glue gun's nice and hot, so let's pop this on here. Now, because this is a circle, it doesn't really matter where you start and where you finish, because it's always going to be, if you've cut it in half, it's always going to be halfway round. So that's going to be the gnome's little beard. And now we need to make the hat. I'm going to use this foam to make the hat with. Now, I don't want to just roll this around and then cut it into shape. I'm going to make a little template out of some paper, so I don't waste a lot of this foam. Not that it's expensive or anything, it's just that I don't want to waste it. So all I'm doing is cutting a piece of paper like this, putting my bit of paper together like that until I've got the shape that I want. And this is how I make a lot of my patterns, really, by just using a bit of paper and then doing some trial or error. Now, I am going to try and get all my patterns available that I use free of charge on my website. But at the moment, I've not worked out how to do that. I use Squarespace so I can get them up there so people can get them free of charge. I will announce that on the channel. So I want the hat to be about, let's have a look. So if we cut it across there to start with, that might be too big, but we can have a look. And I want it to come down either side like that. So I think, to me, that is about right. I think that would be a nice size for the hat. So all I now need to do is go across there like that. And I know if I cut that shape out of my foam, I'm not going to be wasting lots of foam, and I'm also going to get the shape that I want. So that's fairly easy to do. You can draw on it, on this foam. It draws on quite well, but I kind of am not going to. I've cut that off like that. Just need to cut these sides out. I won't chuck these away, these bits. I will use them for other projects or putting on cards and things like that. Wider side in first. Make sure it's all nicely lined up, and it is. I'm quite happy with that shape. And now I can just use my glue gun again to stick some glue in there and glue that into place like that. So now that fits on there quite well. It looks quite cute already. And he's not even finished. And now all I need to do is go around this edge with my hot glue. Make sure the join's at the back. And this is where I want to get those bits quite nice and level. Push that up into there so it's in there. And let that dry. And I'll show you why I'm leaving the back. So get pom-pom. Go around the edge of this with your pom-pom, with your hot glue. And stick your pom-pom on. And then obviously we need a nose as well. Now I'm going to be using one of the smaller little pom-poms, and that's where his little nose is going to go, which is there. And there we have a little gnome with his little nose. Now if you wanted to do a bigger one, you could stick two of these pom-poms together. I've done that before. Or you could use a nice large one, like you've put on the top of his hat. So you could do a really big pom-pom there. I'll show you what that looks like. And you can let me know in the comments whether you like the larger nose or the smaller nose. But if I was going to use the larger nose like that, I would probably use a different colour on the top here. But at the moment, I've only got the white ones. But I quite like that anyway. I'm going to make an advent calendar. I'm going to show you how I make the base of the advent calendar so that these actually sit onto it and don't fall off. Well, I've made 24 of these now. I'll show you them in a minute. I'm just waiting for Amazon to deliver different coloured pom-poms put on the hats because I don't think these white ones look right. And I've drawn out a very rough plan of how I want it to look. I want it to go upright, and I want it to have some bits here to have the numbers on so that when you've opened them, you can then turn them round. So they're like that before you open it. That's number one. When you've opened it, you can just turn it round and you know that you've had the sweetie out of that one or whatever it is that you're going to put in them. So I need to do this. I'm going to do them in rows of 6 because there's 24 of these because obviously you don't get one on the Christmas day. Going to be using, I've got a really big cardboard box that I've been keeping just in case I need to build something that's larger. So what I'm going to do is measure these up so there's a gap between each one of about 1.5 centimetres, so what's that, just over half an inch, and there's enough height to be able to lift them up and pull them out. So I'm going to cut the box up to size and then I'll show you how I put it together. Well, I've cut the back panel now, and what I've done is this box isn't as rigid as I would like it. So what I'm going to do is I cut 2 back panels out of that box. I'm going to glue them together. Once they're glued together and set, then what I can do is cut them into a complete square or the size that I want and then go from there. All I'm going to use to glue these together with is some white glue. Well, I've finished putting this together. I've made my little shelves for the little gnomes to sit on. I've made a panel here so that I can put a sentiment on there. And now all I need to do is go around this, stick some paper all over it, so a bit of paper mache, because I just think that'll tidy up all the edges and everywhere else, and just give it a little bit of strength. This is all nice and dry now, and nice and hard everywhere, so I need to give it a paint, and that's how it looks, and I think the gnomes are going to look really good in it, really cute. I am going to put something up here. I'm going to put the numbers, so the days of the week, here on these bits after I've painted it. I'm going to prime it first in white and then I'm going to paint it all one colour, I think. I've painted it all up now and it was really easy to paint up. What I did was I did a primer of white, then I went over it with some crimson red once that had dried, give it 2 coats of that, and then I went over it with a very weak solution. You can see how weak the solution was of burnt umber, so that's how weak it was. It was like water. It was just acrylic paint mixed with water to kind of give it this woody feel and look to it that I wanted to get, rather than it being so bright. And I've printed off some stockings, some snowflakes, or cut them out using my Cricut. The numbers to put on everything, so we know where it is. A great big Merry Christmas. And I've also done a Father Christmas and some other decorations. So I'm going to put those on. Then I will show you what it all looks like, completely finished. Well, my advent calendar's all finished now, and I think it's come out really, really well. I absolutely love it. I think it's so cute. When you take out your little man, there's a chocolate. Because we've made the gnomes out of toilet roll, there is a hole underneath, so you can easily just pop a little chocolate there. I love the way the actual outside has come out as well, and it is quite robust. I've decorated it down the side with some Christmas baubles that I made, and obviously the Santa and that. And then down the other side, I've also put some little gnomes and some presents and a little bell. And then inside here, I've got a snowflake, a stocking, a snowflake and a stocking, and the same the other side. And when you take your little gnome out, you've eaten your chocolate. Yum, 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 yum. Yum, 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 yum. The numbers are in the back and on the front and there. So you've got your countdown. If you turn them round, you know what day you're on as well. So number 2, number 1. So we now know the next one's the 3rd day. I put glitter on the bottom bit. So there's chocolates under each one. When you get to the 24th, then it's Christmas Day and you get all your presents. Let me know what you think of this in the comments below. I'd love to know, or I'd love to know as well if you've made something similar or you make your own advent calendars. Don't forget, please boot that like button. It really does help my videos get out there. And I would love to see this video becoming a really big hit. Share it as much as you like. And don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.